Hi, it's me, Karen Romano Young, back again with another chapter of A Girl, a Raccoon, and the Midnight Moon, with pictures by Jessica Bagley and published by Chronicle Kids in 2020. Chapter 18, Library Cards, free, September 26. What do you need to get a library card? Love of reading. Not very sexy, said Alice over Patricia's shoulder, peeking at her screen. You'll have to do better than that, Trish. Pearl said, loving reading isn't even the point. The point is you don't need to have an ID or money, just an address. Mom said, the point is it's a free country. If you want to read, you can. Francine said, how about just library cards? Free. Got it, said Mom, hitting print. I'm putting a sign on the door. I'll hang it up for you, said Pearl. She was itching to get away from everyone, to take off around the building and down the basement stairs where the raccoon... But no, Francine just had to come with her to hold up the sign while Pearl taped it. Francine said in a hurried, excited whisper, I've got an idea for a dance to make more school kids come, not just babies. You're not going to like it though, Pearl. A dance? Pearl had no time for dances. She was piecing together a story in her head. A story with drama and mystery and potential. It's got the rock lady in it, Francine said as they came back inside. The headless rock lady. She might not be headless much longer, announced Ramon. Oleg Boyko has found stone carvers. What? You mean he can't carve it himself? Pearl was getting tired of Oleg being such a hero. Francine said, who on earth can carve a head out of stone? She truly was impressed. So was Ramon. So was Pearl, really. She was just jealous. A sculptor, said Ramon. Right here in New York City, we have a cathedral under construction with a team of stone carvers. Can you believe it? And they're going to carve the head? Your mother's drafting a letter to them right now. Pearl did not know what to think about this. She couldn't imagine Vincent wearing some new head. She couldn't stand to envision what it would look like. But what she was impressed with was how much Oleg knew about his one thing, rocks, and how he was using it. He was a geek too, and everyone liked him. To Pearl, this was enlightening. A sidebar about mothers. In societies where fathers stick around during the gestation of children and help rear them, sometimes you get a division of labor and responsibilities that is purely biological. The females who are biologically responsible for pregnancy and nursing stay close to home and children, while males go out to find or hunt food for their families. In societies where fathers mate with the mothers and then disappear right away, the mothers are responsible for everything. My grandmother says it's better this way, less messy and less scratching and snarling. The mother relies on her own resources for better or worse, and the children grow up to reflect her strengths as well as her weaknesses. There is never just one influence on a child, not among raccoons, oh no. You get the full benefit of grandmothers and aunts as well as your mother. Lucky for me, my grandmother's house is nearby and my aunt's tree even nearer. Even luckier, my aunt is literate and ambitious, even if that makes for certain bratty cousins who put on airs. Luckiest of all, I'm my grandmother's favorite granddaughter. My grandmother's writing holds our society together, informs and inspires us, but the story I'm telling has the power to save us from the loss of our most precious resource, our castle, our hearth, our library. My mother's weakness is a longing for her own history, not ours. If only my own mother was not so hell-bent on recapturing the magic of a certain 2 nights of her life. Like Cinderella, she met her prince not once but twice. My brother and I, each only kits with no littermates, are together the offspring of the same union. And my mother is always looking for my father. She has a dream of getting out of the city and taking my brother and me with her to live with our father, her Prince Charming, the one who got away. But I have a different dream. I intend to be more than ready to stand on my own. When it comes to writing, I'm a geek like my grandmother, I guess. It's Grandma for short, who taught me to read and is nagging me now to teach my brother before he gets away too. Someone else can be her mother's daughter. I'm Saving the World, One Paragraph at a Time by M.A.M. Mom and Ramon were already talking excitedly about what kind of a ceremony they might have to introduce a replacement head and how Mom could write a press release to get the media to cover it. Good press, positive press, the library striding boldly into the future as the centerpiece of Lancaster Avenue, an event they could announce to the board before their October 2nd vote to make sure it knew the library intended to fight for its right to be a library, not apartments. Pearl couldn't argue with this, but that afternoon she couldn't stop feeling crabby about the new head. She trudged up the straight stairs and pulled some picture books for Alice to consider for a story hour, just to remind herself which kid was key around here. But Alice was babbling about an idea for a rock lady costume Francine could make, since she was so good with her hands, and it was too much for Pearl to take. Pearl took advantage of their annoying excitement and escaped back down the spiral stairs. When she heard Mom carrying on about the new head night and Ramon suggesting calling it a gala, a fete, an extravaganza, she knew they were too distracted to worry about where she was. So she opened the basement door and ventured down the worn wooden steps. Now, understand, Pearl was a brave, fierce girl, but she wasn't used to darkness. She was a city girl, and the city was always blinking and shining, so places where the darkness was unbroken were few. Even Pearl, who had nerve enough to sneak onto the street at night, avoided such places. She couldn't help being fascinated by darkness, of course. Like any city kid, she had gone through a phase of riding in the front car of the subway so she could peer into the blackness beyond the headlight's beam. She had been at summer concerts in Central Park. She'd gone out after sunset, but even there were headlights and fireflies. And she finally let it in. She was afraid. Pearl didn't want to admit to herself that she was afraid of what might be in the ancient, dirt-floored, low-ceilinged, absolutely unlit, pitch-dark basement of her very own library. But now there was something at stake. Now there were raccoons who might have news to share, raccoons who Bruce thought lived in the trees overlooking the garden and the statue, raccoons who were the only ones who might know what happened in the garden the night Vincent's head was stolen, raccoons who could write. What else they could do, a bunch of them together, was beyond Pearl's understanding right now. For all she knew, in this overdramatic moment, they could be the thieves of Vincent's head. Maybe the head was down here right now. Did she think she could slip in, find the head, not wake the sleeping raccoons, get back upstairs, and arrive triumphant to restore Vincent to her former glory? The door snapped shut on some kind of spring behind her. She pushed away all thoughts of cobwebs, silverfish, rats, and corners you couldn't see into. I'm still in the library, still in the library, still in the library, she told herself with every step she descended. The only light came from the cloudy window that looked onto the driveway, Pearl's own flashlight and the glowing exit sign at the top of the stairs. It smelled like dirt. Still in the library. And when she stepped through the doorway at the foot of the stairs, she shouted inside her head, I'm still in the library! Something down here was holding its breath along with Pearl. She heard it rustle and she thought, they really are here. I wasn't making it up. Hey, she whispered in a sing-song low voice, it's only Pearl. You know me. I won't hurt you. I just need your help. There was a small scuffle and muffled chattering. The flashlight's weak beam picked up the gleam of 2 shining eyes, then 2 more. She raised the beam slightly and saw 2 black-masked, white-whiskered faces. The tiny one was the raccoon kit she'd scooped out of the street. She was sure of it. Pearl crouched down and put out her hand. The little one stepped forward, gathered its nerve, and skittered out of the reach of the larger one, who tried to stop it. The little one reached out a paw and touched Pearl's finger, then ran back to the other one. I want to find out if you know where Vincent's head is. Who took it? How do I get it back? Because maybe if we know then, we can convince people that the library is worth saving. The larger raccoon grabbed hold of the smaller one, and they both disappeared into the darkness. What was back there? Some kind of hole or tunnel or nest or burrow? Nothing else happened. The head didn't roll into view. The raccoons didn't suddenly speak. The books said, and Mom's stories said, that raccoons nested in hollow trees or shallow holes in the ground. But in the city, why shouldn't they nest inside too? Their nests lined with shredded moon, especially with winter coming on. What was I expecting? Pearl stood there feeling hugely stupid. It made perfect sense for raccoons to be in the basement. That didn't mean they wanted to help her, or even that they knew who she was. Pearl emerged from the basement, peeking through the glass window of the door first to make sure the hallway was empty. "Where were you?" said Simon when she got to the circulation desk. "Nowhere," said Pearl. She stared at his head. He'd done something to his black hair. The ends were dyed red and orange. "Have you gone insane?" "That seems to be the general opinion," Simon said. "It's for my band. If we're going to stand out, I need to stand out." "You already do," said Pearl, then quickly asked, "What's your band called now?" "We're still working on it," said Simon. "What do you think it should be?" He was always doing this, talking about the band without giving its name. He'd tell her what songs they practiced, what he wanted to play next, but all he did when she asked the band's name was tell her to suggest one. Now she said, "The Masked Bandits." "Like bandits? Like raccoons?" he asked, cocking an eyebrow at her. "Yes," she said. "Sounds too criminal," said Simon. "So what were you doing in the basement, Pearl?" "Don't say anything, Simon. Promise? I'm looking for, what was that headline? A something remedy? An elusive remedy," said Simon. "There's your band name," said Pearl. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.